Hey, what's up, everybody? Recently, if you guys did not see the patch notes video that I put out, first and foremost, make sure you guys go check that one out. But there was, in that video, talks of the new MMR system for competitive season 3. If you guys didn't see that information or don't know what that's about, the basic way I can explain it is they took the ranks from Diamond 1 and Grand Champ 3 and changed the MMR requirements. So in the past, to get Grand Champ, you had to be 1515 MMR. It's now like 1435. That's even more of a change if you play like 3v3s. In 3v3s, you had to be like 1556 MMR, and it is now also 1435. So about 100 points reduction. And that's pretty similar to all the ranks. Anywhere from Diamond 1 all the way up to Grand Champ 3, the thresholds in which it takes to get into those ranks has been reduced by about 100. And it's had some pretty interesting replies to it. I ended up putting out a tweet and talking about this whole situation and trying to figure out what people's thoughts were in it. And I actually was pretty surprised by the results. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what's actually going on with the MMR system, what the changes are, things to expect, and why actually a lot of people are really frustrated with it. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. As I mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be about the new MMR system for competitive season 3. If you guys don't know what that means, recently Rocket League put out season 3, which came with a new rocket pass and everything else. If you guys have not seen the video about that, I recommend going to check it. It'll probably be related. In those patch notes, they talk about how because of all the influx of the free-to-play players, there is a large portion of players that are bronze right now to plat, and there's not enough of a distribution into diamond and above, which is to be expected. You've got a bunch of people who have never played Rocket League before, a game that is not going to translate from any other game. And in the rank system, there's a couple different ways you can kind of feel about this, but there needs to be an equal distribution on the way that you want ranks to be fulfilled. There is people that are pretty resistant to change and their mentality of what a rank means. And I think that's going to be the big tackling point of this video, is kind of getting people to realize that the mentality that they have about a certain rank has basically been diminished. You basically took the player base with Rocket League and went from, on average, like at a peak, 200,000 concurrent people playing, to now, even when I log on here and there, middle of the afternoon, you'll get like 950 to like 980 some thousand people playing. Sometimes it hits over 1 million in peak. And you're talking a player base increase of about 500%. And that's been like that since free-to-play has come out. And it hasn't really dropped. There's a lot of people playing this game right now. And there's a lot of people that have never played this game before partaking in that. And because of that, you have a lot of really poor players. People that are really bad at the game. And that's to be expected anytime you pick up a new game. Especially one that is mechanically intensive, physics-based, everything that we know and love Rocket League for. Psyonix, in their competitive season 3 update, decided to state that because there is so many players down in these lower ranks, that what we have perceived to be plat, diamond, whatever, needs to be bumped up. We need to take the players that are currently right now diamond to Grand Champ 3 and move them up in the ranking. And that is all adjusted. If you guys take a look at this graph, and you should be able to see it, these are the current distributions for MMR. If you guys don't know what MMR is, it is your matchmaking rating. Every time you play a game of Rocket League, based upon what you're playing up against, where your win streak is, all that kind of stuff, you are given a set or an allotment of points based upon if you win or lose, and that MMR gets hidden until you hit Grand Champ. Grand Champ is and has been associated with as kind of like, this is where you need to get to be considered good. Grand Champ in the past used to be the highest rank you could achieve. And then when new stuff came out with free-to-play, they introduced Grand Champ 1, 2, and 3, and then a new rank, Supersonic Legend. Supersonic Legend is meant to be the best of the best. It's the highest rank achievable, which is what Grand Champ used to be. And I think that's where the difficulty comes, is for people like myself who've been playing this game for 5 years, Grand Champ has always been associated as, if I'm Grand Champ, I'm good. I'm really good at the game. And realistically, Grand Champ is still like the top 1 point some odd % of the player base. It's still definitely a difference. And I can tell you, when you hit roughly 1650, 1700 MMR, it's a completely different game. Anywhere from Grand Champ 1 to mid Grand Champ 2 is pretty rough. But people start to learn how to rotate and actually play the game when you hit GC2, roughly like Division 3. That's usually when the game starts to kind of come in with an expectation of like, yes, Mr. Grand Champ, I know you're on defense. I can expect you to hit the ball, unlike my teammates when I first did my placements. I was going to do this video a little bit earlier, but I wanted to get a little bit of information. First and foremost, Rocket League Tracker does a really good job of showing this information, so shout outs to them. But I did my placements. I did 13 matches, which is 3 matches over. I won 9 out of my 13 matches, and I placed, I think, like 15, 18 MMR or something. Throughout the entire placement process, and the way that it's basically been handled and said in the past, is if you win about 50% of your placement games, you should end up roughly in the same area. As someone who's been Grand Champ since like Season 2, that is not always the case. Usually it places you a little bit below that, and then you've got to play like a handful of games, and then you get back into Grand Champ, and then you're just playing for rewards. And that's where some of the frustration, I think, comes in. Not only is the mentality of what Grand Champ means being diminished, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, it's the results of what people are saying that actually surprises me. There is a lot of people that are hitting Champ for the first time, or Grand Champ for the first time. People that have been grinding this game to receive those accomplishments. They've been working really hard to get those, and now they do their placement matches, and they are placing. I know people that are like Diamond 2 that are placing in Champ 1, Champ 2 area. I know people that are Champ 2 placing in Grand Champ, and they basically feel that accomplishment doesn't mean anything. It's like they didn't earn it, and it's a really frustrating feeling for a lot of people. And that's actually what catches me off guard. You would think that a lot of people are just happy to finally be in this rank that they've been trying to get to. A lot of people always say, like, I'm in this rank, but I deserve to be this rank. And with the adjustment, that is now the case. But the sense of accomplishment is no longer there. And I feel a lot of people are now seeing, and this is to my surprise, the frustrations that some of us that have been in Grand Champ and higher for a long time are feeling, which is the fact that once I do my placement matches, I have no reason to play this game. I could push for Supersonic Legend if I felt like it, and that's more of a me thing than anybody else. But I really don't have a reason to really push. I'm not going to be a pro. I'm not going to be someone that is going to play this game a religious amount to get to that level, to try to prove and grind and all that kind of stuff to get the highest rank in the game. It's not for me. And for maybe some others, that's enough incentive to play. But ultimately, you're telling me that I have what is essentially 400 MMR of nothing. GC 1, 2, 3, all the same rewards, all the same titles, all the same everything. There is literally no point, if I'm not pushing for Supersonic Legend, to play. The accomplishment that I am getting is no longer there in ranked. So a lot of people, I feel, are going to do what I do. I get my placements done. I play roughly 30 to 50 matches, whatever it is, to get my GC rewards. And then I call it quits for the season. I play casual. I mess about with friends in the extra modes if I play. But I personally just stop playing ranked altogether because there really is no reason for me to, unless I am one of the select few that is trying to push for Supersonic Legend. And I feel that encompasses a lot more people than the outlier that is the very small percentage that is trying to push for Supersonic Legend. And I was actually, I guess, more so surprised that there is so many people that are in the Diamond area that feel like hitting Champ now doesn't feel rewarding. And that's a really bad sign, I think. There's the arguments between multiple people saying that this is kind of just short-sighted decisions by Psyonix. When free-to-play came out and they brought in these new ranks, they should have adjusted the MMR then rather than doing it later. And now this is just kind of a band-aid to fix an issue that was already pre-existing. But ultimately, a lot of the replies and the things that people are talking about is it feels very, very flattening in regards to the accomplishments that you are supposed to be receiving. I'm glad they didn't touch Supersonic Legend. Supersonic Legend should be perceived as the new Grand Champ. It's tough to get to. It's out of reach for a lot of people, and it's supposed to be like that. I think in many other games, getting to that rank or that echelon of play is something that you have to work very hard for, and I personally don't think it's been felt like that for a very long time. As when Grand Champ free-to-play, for a very, very long time, Grand Champ felt like another day at the office. It never felt like I really earned it. It never felt like I really had to try for it. It was just a thing that was given to me based upon the way the rank system is. I still think there's a lot of issues with the rank system, and I've been saying these things for years about how there's no real decay system. I think there's a lot of things that they could implement to make people want to play more. I in particular, by just not playing, keep my rank? Why is it that just because I don't play, as long as I don't log into the game and show that I'm active, I don't lose points? I should have to consistently log into the game to keep my spot, but that just isn't the case. So I think some diminishing returns on that are kind of part of the feeling. I think there needs to be some sort of decay system, a little bit heavier one than what it is now, which also allows for people at the very top to grind out ranked, build a buffer, and then have that drop off. League of Legends does a really good job of this. It's where most of my backing comes from, because I played League of Legends competitively at a high level for 6.5 years. And their system seems to work. They obviously have a very large player base, but we are also getting to that point now as well. I think there's like 60 or 70 million unique players, and it's only gone up since that. With a million concurrent players every day is a lot. It's a heck of a lot. To put that in perspective, that's the same numbers as something like Counter-Strike. It's more than Dota 2. It's more than Apex Legends, PUBG, Valheim, Rust, Team Fortress. Like, it is so many people playing this game when it comes to concurrent. But the best thing I can say is that's as much as the peak of Counter-Strike. That is a ton of people, and Counter-Strike is probably the most popular FPS in the world. Obviously, Valorant's doing pretty dang well and everything else too, but that's a different discussion. But again, there's a lot of people playing this game, so finding ways to balance that out and incentivize to get people to play. I don't know if they want to introduce titles for GC2 and 3. I don't know if that's even going to make it better, but there needs to be some sense of accomplishment. Maybe this is going to be the decisive factor for a lot of people to start playing in tournaments now instead, because then at least you get rewards and you get items and stuff with your credits. Maybe that's going to be the thing, but ultimately, I'm curious on what you guys think. How do you feel about the new change with the MMR system? If you haven't seen the graphs and stuff, I can try to drop links to that down below, but the distribution has dropped everything, as you guys have seen by that graph that was shown earlier. Everything is dropped by roughly about 100 MMR. Accomplishments definitely feel a little bit less. There's a big outcry for a lot of people that feel like they didn't achieve their results. But I haven't really heard from people in the tail end, the people that are below diamond. I haven't heard from too many people like that speak up. If you are one of those people that is in bronze to like platinum, how do you feel? If you're a player that only started playing during Supersonic Legend, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious on what you guys have to say, but ultimately, I'm kind of indifferent about it. I, again, am not one who plays this game all too much. Maybe like 8 hours a month is enough, and knowing I play that little and I can still do placements and hit Grand Champ, and now it's just a matter of getting the wins to get the rewards, is even more diminishing return for me, which is really unfortunate because it was already pretty dang low. So I don't know. I'm kind of in between on this. I don't think I'm the best perspective to ask about this, if I'm being completely honest, just because I play so little. But that's why I've reached out to the community and asked a bunch of people. But it seems to be a pretty common thing that a lot of people feel like this just feels flat. It feels like I'm not earning much here. It feels like I don't really have to work for it. And that's not a good feeling when you're trying to accomplish something you've never really done, or something that's been out of reach in the past. Or maybe you do like the adjustment. Maybe you guys like the fact that you are now where you have perceived yourself to be, and you feel like you've grinded a lot, and now your rank reflects that. Who knows? But again, let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Links to everything I'm talking about in the description, along with all my social medias, if you want to go give those a like and follow. And if you enjoy the content while you're down there, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.